Max Holloway KOs Anthony Pettis for UFC interim featherweight title, calls out Jose Aldo. One of the greatest fights in UFC history set the stage. And then one of the greatest head kick knockouts set the table. When it was Max Holloway's turn to step into the spotlight, he was up to the task. Holloway became the first man to stop Anthony Pettis, beating him up thoroughly before stopping him with strikes at 4:50 of the third round to cap a wildly exciting night of fights and claim the interim featherweight title in the main event of UFC 206 in Toronto. The UFC made the Pettis-Holloway fight for the interim featherweight title and appointed Jose Aldo the regular champion after Dana White said Conor McGregor opted to give up the belt. McGregor has the lightweight belt and hasn't he defended the featherweight crown since he won it at UFC 194 a year ago. Holloway gave the belt a worthy home, winning his 10th consecutive bout in impressive fashion. Pettis, who missed weight by 3 pounds and said he can't make the cut, came in just 1-3 in his last 4 bouts but hadn't even stopped. Holloway was in control throughout, moving in and out and popping Pettis with shots while using a strategy similar to bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz. Whereas Jose Aldo Holloway asked in the cage after his triumph, mocking the longtime champion who was unable to compete on Saturday. Jose Aldo, meet me in Brooklyn, at UFC 208 in February, and let us get the real featherweight title, Holloway exclaimed. The night's only title fight was almost overshadowed by the 2 bouts that preceded it. Cub Swanson won a unanimous decision over Du Ho Choi in a wild bout that figures to be named the 2016 Fight of the Year. Both men showed unbelievable chins, as they blasted each other for 15 minutes with big shots that looked like they could KO a horse. Choi, a rising featherweight star, called out Swanson on Twitter, which angered the veteran. Choi said he did so out of respect, but it certainly made an impression on UFC president Dana White. After the bout ended, White tweeted, "Expletive, fight of the night. This is fight of the year!" It is among the finest fights in UFC history, as both men took and doled out extraordinary punishment. Swanson came on as the fight wore on and his punches took an increasing toll on Choi. "It was such a good fight," Swanson said. "I was exhausted, but there was no way I was going to quit. That was a hard act to follow, but Donald Cerrone and Matt Brown just about did it. They, too, put on an amazing slugfest and the bout hung in the balance as the third round began. One judge had Cerrone up 2-0, but the other 2 judges gave Cerrone the first and Brown the second. The third was going to be decisive, and Cerrone didn't take long to end it. He cracked Brown with a switch kick to the head, instantly knocking him out. Brown went down flat on his back and Cerrone didn't even bother to go in for the kill. He knew it was over. The head kick was there, Cerrone said. "I saw him fainting to that side and I went for it. That set the stage for Holloway, who hasn't lost since dropping a decision to McGregor in Boston in 2013, 39 months ago. Holloway picked Pettis apart, swelling the ex-lightweight champ's right eye as well as cutting him. Pettis said he broke his hand on the first punch of the fight. "The first right hand I threw, I hit him on top of the head and I broke my right hand," Pettis said. It was obvious he was going to have trouble against Holloway, but without his right hand and with an eye that was giving him difficulty seeing out of, he was in serious jeopardy. Holloway finished him with a kick and then a flurry of punches to the body as Pettis covered up by the cage. Holloway was wise and didn't just go head hunting. He alternated shots to the body and the head. Pettis slumped to the mat and referee Eve Levine jumped in to halt it. There was a lot of tough talk between them before the fight, but Holloway said on the post-fight show on Fox Sports 1 that he's been a fan of Pettis for a long time. "I had to wait until after the fight to tell him, but he's a guy who I looked up to," Holloway said. But Holloway made a strong case for himself and faces what should be an interesting bout against Aldo in early 2017. It's unlikely Holloway would be ready to go again by February, but the Aldo-Holloway bout for the featherweight belt will be one to look forward to in the first part of next year.